minion slaying, which is basically how many last hits you get as like either AD carry or any champion that you would want to be. Last hitting is important because it helps you build all these items that can strengthen your champion to be able to complete your laning phase and dominate your enemy lane. Laning phase is also important because you always want to be on top of your enemy lane so that you won't suffer in the long run, and that you will also be able to basically win the game with your teammates. If you're struggling in lane, also make sure to call for like enemies or your buddies. For example, if I were to play with like any of these people right now, I could call any of them for help. Like if I were to play like with these first four, that'd be a team. I can call either any of them for help. Second would be being able to acquire objectives when you can. For example, like towers or turrets that they're called in the game. You can either destroy a turret to acquire more gold in the long run because it'll accumulate as you do it. And also for towers, there's also Baron and Valma. They're basically the steroids of the game. They'll strengthen your champion so that your damage dealt will be higher in the long run. So yeah. And lastly, itemization. If you're ahead of the game, so like let's say for example, mid lane is usually ability power champions. This is all the ability power. This is like the main items of the champions. These are all the most, or not, I wouldn't say expensive, but they're pricey, and it'd take a lot of minions to kill just to get those items. And with those items, you'll deal more magic damage. And for an attack-based champion like the monkey, it'd be basically the physical damage more than the magic damage. And these are pricey items for him. And for example, also, there's also something called a tank in the game. Basically, he's a rock, so he's a tank. These are all the tanky items, and usually it depends on the person you're playing against, because this is MR or armor, magic resist, and more armor. So basically, the tank's job is to protect the rather squishy, I guess you could say squishy opponent or teammates. So all they do is just go in and block all the abilities that are targeting the squishies. And also, the more games you play will require you to buy something called runes, which strengthen your champions as well. So for example, the page I have at the moment is an ability powered champions page, which strengthens ability powered champions. And for attack based champions, this would be everything for an attack based champions. And the very last thing would be the mastery page. So for example, this would be a setup for a tank. Each box has like its own benefit for a champion. So this would be for all the attack champions, tank, and then not many people enjoy playing support, but this would be a support page as well. And there are also spells that can help you come up on top of your opponent, like basically decimate them. Commonly, if you're a jungler, you aid every lane, so there's top lane, mid lane, and bottom lane. Junglers use a spell called Smite, which can like basically deal 300 to 1,000 damage, which is a lot. And it help you obtain Valma and Baron.